What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozik, and this is the Thor Complete. And I couldn't be happier with how he looks. Looking at the back of my phone here, the colors are getting a little washed out. He's a little more vibrant than what you're seeing here, but if you follow me on Facebook, you saw the photos I posted last night. And I finished him up yesterday. So, yeah, really cool piece, and I'm stoked with how he looks. I got my skin tones looking pretty good the way I want. I had one person tell me that he was looking a little tan, but I think it's just my cell phone pictures. But I'm super happy with the way he looks. A couple things I've done that I haven't done before on this kit. A couple of things I haven't done on other kits was I did the veining. I went in with some pastels, and it's super, super subtle. It actually doesn't show up very well in photos, but in person it looks really good. I've seen other guys do veining, and it's like way too drastic. It looks like purple lines and blue lines all over their arms, and I'm not a fan of that look. The way I've done it's very subtle, very minimal. I think it looks more natural. This is the first figure I've painted where I've had to paint like the tongue and the gums because his mouth is open, so that was kind of challenging. What else? The hair was a little challenging because my first time trying to do blonde. I did blonde on one of my 11 busts and it turned out too yellow, but this one I really tried to get a blonde look, and I'm real happy with that. Had a lot of comments on the helmet, and that was done with Kosuit Sun polishing powder by Wave. You can get it at Hobby Link Japan? Not Hobby Link Japan. Japan 1990, or I'll put a link down below, but it's basically it's like a very fine graphite polishing powder, and it works really nice. It gives you like a black chrome look, not so much a bright chrome. Looking at the photos I posted last night on Facebook, I'm probably going to go back and revisit the cape again. I'll do it later, but it is shaded, but it's very subtle. I had a really nice kind of gray tone going on with the cape before I sprayed the red. The way I do my red shading is I basically will spray black or a dark gray, and then I'll do my highlighting with white, and then I'll spray red, because red has a really tough time covering. It's just one of those paints that doesn't hide very well. So I use that to my advantage, and I use that I do all the shading, and then I spray the color on top. And I think I killed that. I put too much red on and kind of killed my shading a little bit. But in person it looks good. There's some photos that's really kind of just a little too subtle. So I may go back and either just spray darker red in the shadows, or just kind of respray it. And I also found a couple dry spots here and there, and a little bit of dirt in the cape that I didn't notice earlier. I mean, I know where it is, but I think anyone looking at it wouldn't notice it. Let's see, I've got him on a turntable here. He's huge. Let's see what else. The boots were a little challenging. I tried to mask them off, and the masking wasn't working, so I ended up going in and hand painting all the black strapping. In the end, that would probably been quicker just to do that than trying to mask it and spray it. So the colors you're seeing, the black is actually just the Badger Stynel Res primer straight. There's no black on top of it. His torso actually has a very slight blue undertone. Again, it's very, very subtle, so it's hard to see it in photos, but you can see it in person. I sprayed it, can't remember if I did blue first and then black, or if I did black, and I think what I did is I sprayed it black first, and I highlighted with the blue, and then I mixed the blue and the black together and just kind of misted it in. The shading of the legs is done with just base coat of blue, and then highlighting with base coat of black, highlighting with the blue, and just blending it all in. Again, my shading is very subtle. I look at a lot of these guys who do figures, and the shading is so contrasty. It's like crazy to me. I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather have a more subtle look to it. I think it looks more natural. So the biggest part I did yesterday, and I'll take the camera off the tripod, or I'll take this apart a little bit. So yesterday what I had to finish up is I had to paint his hammer, and I did that. I'll show that to you. I'll take it off the tripod, or take the hammer out of his hand and show it to you. I had to paint the base. The base took a little while just because it's so damn big, and it turned out really nice. I looked at some other paint-ups of it. Some guys went really kind of a cold gray, some went really warm brown. I kind of went in between, and the way I did is basically on top of the primer gray, I went and I darkened all the shadows with some black, or not black, with some clear, I think it was like a clear leather brown, or it was a clear brown of some sort. It wasn't black. And then I just randomly went around the base and I modeled on some light African flesh, some dark African flesh, some clear nicotine yellow. This is all from Garage Kits US. And I just kind of just randomly placed it all over the rock. And then I went in and dry brushed it with a cold gray and then a white. And then, so that turned out really nice the way I liked it. It's nice and warm, not so cold. And then there's a lot of moss sculpted in. So that was first base coated in an olive green, and then I went in and I just stippled in different colors of green and white to bring out different shade variations of that, and that turned out pretty nice. I just love this piece. I've had some people say, man, it's just an ugly pose, but I love it, man. It's got so much motion in it. It's just very, very dynamic. I love it. Again, everyone's got their own taste, but I think it's really a phenomenal piece. I guess the one thing that I get the most comments on is that I don't know if it'll show up when my camera's low enough, but like from that angle, his hand's hanging down between his legs, and it looks like his schlong is hanging down, but that's just the way the sculpt is. Actually, I got a little schmutz in the helmet here. I need to see if I can get that out. See a little spot. The wings on the helmet took me a little while. I was going one direction and I didn't like it. I initially had spray paint or painted them black, and then I was dry brushing some different colors on it, and so they're getting washed out here again. Let me see if I can bring this light a little back from it. And they were getting too washed out, or too white. So then I went back and I hand painted some like yellow on it and did some more dry brushing. So I went back and forth a lot on the wings, but in the end I'm happy with what I got. And I tried to get some separation between the different layers, because there's a bunch of different layers in there. The hair, I'm real happy with how it turned out, kind of was white to the tips. Let's see. Oops, sorry. The hammer was a lot of fun, actually. Basically, I did that by, I was sprayed gray primer, and then with the sponge, I went in there and dabbed on some blacks, whites, different grays, and just went back and forth until I kind of got like a stone look. I'll take this off and show it to you. And then I did a wash of like a engine grime wash to bring out the details and give it a nice warm tone. Let's see, this is kind of precariously on this this base here, this turntable. Again, the cape looks good, but I think I want to go in and darken the shadows a little bit now. I posted the photos and I'm seeing it more. You know, you get so involved in something, and you need to just kind of step back for a while and look at it. And then let me tell you, the cape was a bitch. It's just huge. There's really no good way to hold it. So I had to basically, I would like spray the inside of it red. I would let that dry. Then I have to spray the outside, or I would spray the inside with all my shading, let that dry, spray the outside with all my shading. Then I go back and spray the inside with the red, let that dry, spray the outside, you know, so I could hold it. And so it was just, I had to do it like in several stages. It's just the way I had to do it. Again, this lighting isn't the best for this. I'll put a link below to my Facebook photos, because it really shows it off much better than what I've got going on here. I've got the light really low because his stance, his face is pointing down so much it's hard to see it, but really, really happy. I did go a little darker in the face than I did on his arms. I just wanted to exaggerate that kind of him looking down. And I also added a pretty good, I don't know if you're sure if you can shows up, but a 5 o'clock shadow. So I wanted his face to look a little kind of dirtier and grimier, and I'm really happy with how that looked. And the skin tones, I'm super stoked, because my Punisher turned out kind of orange. Now that I look at him, he's really tan. But so this was done with, I base coated with the Stynylrez Flesh, and that's basically mostly what you're seeing is the Stynylrez Flesh. And then I went in with a bunch of different clear colors from Garage Kits US. And there's like some transparent African flesh in there, medium African flesh, Garage Kits, semi-transparent, just Garage Kit Flesh is the color. Again, going back and forth. And then, you know, I went in with pastels in the shadows and stuff, and then I went in pastels in the highlights. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the skin turned out. I mean, I'm really, I think I got it down pretty good there. But yeah, so here he is. I'm gonna take the hammer out so you can see it. Actually, I'll do this. I'll raise the camera up a little bit. Change the lighting a little bit on him. So you can see why I had the light real low, because when I do this, his face goes pretty heavily into shadow. But that's a really cool, menacing look right there. I mean, he looks pissed off. He looks like he's ready to throw that hammer down. So let's raise this up. And the very last thing I got to do is put the sticker on the bottom of the base, which I just signed, and it's unfortunately got a big old pucker in it where you're supposed to sign it, so it's kind of annoying, but yeah. So here's his face. You can see how shiny that chrome is. I could actually get it shinier if I would have. So what I did with it, I get the to get this to work, the chrome, you have to have like a mirror finish gloss black. So after the primer, I polished the primer with 12,000 grit wet sandpaper and made it like the primer was like a mirror. Then I over-thinned Mr. Color GX black, and I sprayed it on in very thin layers, and then the last layer I put on really wet. And I should have, if I really wanted a super mirror finish, I would have polished that black so it was absolutely shiny. I didn't do that. So when I went to polish it, it's more of, it's like a real chrome, but you can see my reflection and stuff in there. It's got a little bit of a texture to it. It's not super mirror-like. Yeah, and then the leather handle, I did this with Garage Kits leather. The metallic bit here is hand-painted Vallejo metal colors. The handle I actually had to redo a couple times because I messed up on it. So all the inlay is hand-painted Vallejo metallic steel. But when you matte coated it, kind of looks like a charcoal gray. And I've got this actually magnetized, so I can take the hammer off like that, and then it goes in there, and then here is the hammer. So I got that kind of stone look to it, and then I went in there with like an engine grime wash to bring out the word Thor and the saying. The saying is a little hard to see just because of the modeling of the stone, but it works well. And then to bring out these details, but I'm real happy with how this turned out. Hand painted gold up there from Vallejo. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked on the hammer. Really happy with that. And another thing I've been noticing is I use the, like a lot of guys do, is the dull coat lusterless flat as a seal between steps. And it's not as flat as it used to be. The cape's got a sheen to it, and that's like the final base coat. I wish it was almost dead flat. Kind of works on the cape, but like on his blue legs, I wish that was a dead flat and didn't have that sheen to it. So again, some of the stuff I may go back and revisit, but like that would require masking off the boots and stuff. So who knows? I tell you what though, even though this guy's big, it's a nice departure from doing a mech because I got it painted like in 2 weeks instead of 8 months. So yeah, just really happy with this guy. This is sculpted by Sheridan Ducey, and is art directed by Nisam. He goes by Bushi Collector. I'll put links down to their pages in Facebook. But yeah, it's my quarter scale Thor, and I couldn't be happier with him. Like I said, the only thing I may go back do is kind of revisit the cape a little bit. But other than that, I'm over the moon with how he looked. Oh, and also I wanted to point out that the silver bits on his chest, that is simply the Badger Stynel Res silver primer. So it's the black, and I just did a real bright highlight in the middle and just kind of faded off. It does have some shading around the edges. You can kind of see it in here, but that's not the paint. That's just the Badger Stynel Res silver. So check out the Badger Stynel Res primers. He's got a bunch of colors out now, and I'm a fan. I really like them. And you can use them as paint, as you can see here. So yeah, but anyway, that's Matt Mrozik saying goodbye, and as usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. Bye.